What do you know about the multiverse?
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. What up, y'all? What up, y'all? This is Tyrone Thornhill. Welcome to Multiverse. Here with Holly Noon, here with Bad Ty Bricks, as usual, the wonderful host of this show. And, you know, as usual, we have a great show for you today. We also, let me not start before I reveal that we managed to grab ourselves a special guest for today. And I'd like you to help me welcome Mini Baby Grogu to the show. What up, man?
I'm in the house.
How you doing? Minnie came only to see the intro, so thank you for coming, and thank you for watching in the backstage, and we'll see you next time, man. Thanks for being me take you out. All right, let's get to the show, y'all. No. I was committed to that bit. I had to go all the way. I was committed to it.
Committed to it. I like that intro. Did y'all switch it up a little bit?
Yes, we did.
It's me. It's me.
It's all just the evolution. It's trying to evolve and grow every day. Shout out to Bad Ty Bricks, for being the de facto producer of the show, putting together a lot of cool stuff. And also shout out to Amy, who we know also does a lot of work behind the scenes and, could use some appreciation. So what's up, Amy? We appreciate you so much.
Yes,
Thank you. Yeah,
Shout out.
absolutely. Yo, before we get into all of the controversial topics of the day, where I can, talk about how right I am about stuff, what I want to get into first is how absolutely excited I am. And also want to hear how excited y'all are about watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm so excited about this. I mean, it's here for me tomorrow at 3:00. And I don't know what I'm gonna do until that time. Like once I'm done with this show, like I guess I just go to bed until 3. Like I don't even know how. Like what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, right.
But I mean, we're getting into what's being billed as like the turning point for Marvel. For Phase 4, we're looking at just a huge cast of characters. As you can see, one whose face we're not used to seeing in a lineup of these particular people. And I mean, we just know that it's going to be so huge at this point. I don't know if it could possibly exceed all the expectations that we have for what this movie could possibly be. But I'd love to hear about like, what are your expectations going into watching this movie, Holly?
So I'm not going to see it till Saturday, but we're going like girl
Good
gang.
luck.
We're like girl gang. Okay. So like my friend, she's bringing her nieces. It's like girl gang. But I'm excited. And I've been watching on YouTube everybody's conspiracy theories the last 3 days on like what they think will happen in Doctor Strange. And so it has me even more excited to see who's actually right.
Are you watching like the spoiler-filled ones and stuff, or are you just watching like the...
No, like people who I guess they're like pretty popular YouTubers, like millions or more, but they're kind of like, this is where we think Marvel's going with it. We might see guest appearances, and like they've analyzed like the trailer just to say, oh, I think this is what's going to happen. And based on the comic books, this is where I think it will go. So yeah, I haven't tried to get into like the people who've got like sneak peeks already for some strange reason, but yeah, so I'm excited.
Do you have like a favorite theory that you've heard or anything? Like, or a favorite
I
person
really want to confirm like which Professor X we're gonna see
yeah
in this one.
Yeah,
because there was like talk that Patrick Stewart didn't recognize his voice, I guess, or whatever. So then they say it's him, but I just want to actually visually see who actually shows up.
Okay. All right. So you're still like, I don't know if Marvel's out here just messing with my head or not. That's we never know. It's the Multiverse of Madness. We never know. What about you, Ty? You have any particular expectations, any specific expectations for what Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going to bring to us?
My expectation is that our world will be flipped upside down after we watch this movie. We're going to see, brand new characters, new storylines, old storylines, with new characters and new production. I'm with you. This almost feels like the first day of school. I know everybody remembers that night you begged your mom to get you that fresh outfit for the first day of school, and now you can't go to sleep because you're just so antsy, just ready to get there, just to show off your new outfit that you worked your ass off all summer long, cutting grass and doing whatever to get. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I have this. Tomorrow is filled with a lot of stuff going on, so I'm not going to be able to see it probably until Thursday when I come back. Well, Friday when I come back. So
okay,
so I'm man, I'm excited for you guys, because I know once you guys see it and your reactions, it's just gonna make me feel like, oh my god. So I'm
not even gonna. You just might have to avoid talking to me, because I don't know. I just kidding. I would never spoil it for you. But yeah, it's the excitement is absolutely there. Are you just gonna just completely avoid anybody and everybody for another day? Is that the plan there?
I think so, because tomorrow, wifey gets her PhD, so I'll be sitting there while she's doing that. And I'll sit away from people, because I don't want anybody next to me like, I just got a call. I don't need any of that. So I'm probably gonna be over here looking weird by myself. And then on the way back, we're gonna ride in silence. Just in case the radio DJ decides to plug or do something or say, hey, did you hear about? Yeah. I don't need any of that in my life. I don't want any of that in my life. So yes, I'm practically going to have a bag on my head. Until Friday. Yes.
Nah, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you at all. Minnie, you like what you seeing it tomorrow, Minnie?
Let's say yes. I will see it tomorrow. Probably like late though, like the latest, because I want to see it by myself. I don't want nobody to go with me.
Right.
I want to see it by myself.
Okay.
But one thing that I will say, let's just say I have a friend who I can't really mention his name, but he went to the premiere.
Well, before you say anything else, I just want to let you know.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Because I will invent teleportation.
Yeah.
And I'll be behind you like Nightcrawler, and I'm not
gonna spoil anything that even matters, whatever. I'll tell you what he said.
Wait, hold on. You put a caveat. You said anything that even matters, and I just want to take this opportunity.
This sounds like he's about to spoil some shit.
Right? Yeah. It sounds like, and then because you know he's gonna say it, and then we're gonna be like, oh man, come on. He's gonna be like, I didn't think it was a spoiler. We're gonna be like, well, that's why we said no. So before we have to like use the time stone and stuff, just think really carefully about what you're about to say.
I am.
Okay.
I am. Right. Well, my boy was for the New Rock Stars, and he went to see it. And when he came out, he was like he was like the man couldn't even speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. And I'm like, yo, slow down. Don't tell me anything that I want to hear. Just slow it down, though. He was like, I know who you are, and I know I can't really talk to you about this, but I'll say this: everything you wanted Batman to be, this shit is. And he left it there. I have no idea what the fuck he meant by that.
Everything you wanted Batman to be, this shit is. Batman was in it?
No. I don't know what he meant. I don't know what he meant.
The assumption that Batman is your favorite character of all time, because that sounds like.
Because he heard all the shit that I was talking about in the movie.
Okay.
So I have no idea what he means by that. You know what I'm saying? Until I see it, then I'll be like, okay, so that's what he meant. But that's what he told me. So
you're right. That's so far. Yeah, that's so far left field that's not even close to a spoiler. So you're right.
My bad.
I didn't mean to be so jumpy, but you had me scared when you were talking about.
Be jumpy, Be very jumpy.
The man just came out of, and I'm telling you, he could barely speak straight.
That's so he must Tyrone tomorrow. It'll definitely be Tyrone tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to bed and be like, I hope I could dream about the movie while I'm sleeping. That's gonna be me at the movie. No, actually, I have a show like shortly after I see the movie tomorrow. So I'm gonna be like, so I'm gonna be on stage with a microphone and the potential to ruin the night of like several people. So I don't want to do that. I would never. Could you imagine how evil that would be?
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure it has happened, but that would be way evil.
Now, but so I asked Holly if she had any kind of particular, thought that she was, or a person she was excited about, or a theory she was excited about. I'm gonna ask y'all both the same question since we were just many. If you want to finish this up with what you were thinking,
Oh.
any theory that you hope happens, or anything, or also any character you hope pops up. This is not necessarily what will happen, but just
just whatever you hope. Yeah, I got it. I mean, if I would ever see the whatever lady, because we already saw that we got Professor X, right? So if for some reason they will bring in Magneto too, that will be awesome.
Okay.
So I would love to see who will play the next Magneto, or they will bring the old Magneto back, whatever. So that would be kind of cool. And I'm always a sucker for Gambit. So a Gambit will be nice.
Yeah.
Be cool. Then I just hope it's more like it's madness. It's multiverse of the word madness is in it. So I want the shit to be crazy. Like how most of Doctor Strange movies have very cinematic, very different the way that
bending and stuff.
Exactly, mind bending. Everything moves around. It's very like Matrix kind of thing. I want a lot of that. It's supposed to be madness. It's supposed to be all craziness. So if that's good enough for me.
Okay. All right, Ty, what about you? Any specific things you're hoping for?
Hoping. I am hoping to see the introduction of the Fantastic Four.
Ooh.
I am hoping to see the introduction to the X-Men.
Okay.
I am also hoping to see the introduction to the Inhumans. Yes, because of the layers. I mean, I know that we're more than likely gonna have, just based off of the trailers and clips that we've seen, leading up to, see, there you go, right there, leading up to this movie, that we're going to have multiple versions of Wanda, multiple versions of Doctor Strange. So if we can have multiple versions of all of them, then I'm sure we could possibly also have multiple versions of, say, maybe a Professor X, maybe multiple versions of, Reed Richards, maybe Iron Man pulls up. And so, I mean, hey, like when me and you talked about this, I said, I predict this to be the largest and most profitable movie that Marvel will have done to date. I think it will surpass Infinity War. I think it will surpass Black Panther. I think it will surpass all of the stuff that Marvel has done. And I think it will surpass it within a month, which is unheard of. Okay. So these are all my predictions. These are things that I want to see.
All right. What about you, Holly? Ty just, had some declarations there. Do you think that this will be the biggest or most profitable Marvel Studios, I imagine, Marvel Studios entry to date? Do you think that's going to be the case here?
Yeah, I do. I think after Spider-Man, that took off and did really well. I mean, now that we're kind of coming out of like the pandemic and all that, I feel like everybody's kind of back to normal. I do really feel like this movie will take off. And I think it's kind of like after Morbius, like whatever that was, this will be a really great entry to kind of really set things moving forward for us in this new phase. So I really do think everybody's going. Yeah, see, people are like, this movie needs to be that one. So I agree.
Yeah, the way they've been marketing this, I would be surprised if it was not. The only thing that I'm wondering is because, before Infinity War and Endgame, we had nearly a decade of buildup. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of buildup. There was a lot of people getting attached to a lot of characters. Now I'm super excited. I just wonder if the people who aren't really deep into it are going to have that same level of excitement about characters that they may not be as familiar with as somebody like Iron Man or Thor or whatever, because they haven't gotten so much exposure to them. Now, having said that, I feel like I feel like we're going to get there, right? We have to at this point, with the way they've been marketing this movie, the stuff they're promising. I mean, they're going all out. I saw a thing where even Kevin Feige was like, "All right, slow down. slow down with releasing stuff because it's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah, we want to still have something to watch.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's I think so they could really take that that momentum and that excitement into the next phase of Marvel, as these stories get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because we saw Endgame as like the culmination of all these wonderful stories that we really had a lot of fun getting into. A lot of people getting into Marvel for the first time through those stories. So they had all this sort of like sentimentality built up, to the that moment. Those moments in Endgame hit so hard for people. I still watch videos of those theaters at the time. You know what I mean? Like when the portal scene in the theater, stuff like that. I saw a video of
cry every time.
Yeah, right.
Captain America when they come through the portal.
Yeah. And videos, I saw one video of somebody took while they were watching, the Iron Man scene when he, makes the ultimate sacrifice at the end. You could hear just the only sound you heard in the theater were sniffles. It was just like sniffles and gasps. That's it. And it's like those moments were built over such a long period of time. But I do think that this movie has the potential to give us that because of how much there is and how crazy it's supposed to be. So, absolutely. What's up, Ty?
With this being a Sam Raimi film, and what we know of Sam Raimi is that he kind of does a little bit dark. He goes a little dark and a little
horror
horror,
movies,
a little horror genre. I think this has the opportunity to do what Morbius was not able to do, which is actually tap into the horror aspect of the movie. And if that happens, you now introduce a whole audience that just loves horror movies into the MCU universe and now fall in love with these characters, because again, with Multiverse of Madness, we're not necessarily getting a whole lot of old characters.
Right.
We are getting some old characters, but we're getting a lot of new stuff, a lot of new people, introductions to America Chavez. I'm sure people have seen the other stuff, and I don't necessarily need to mention all of that. But this could possibly open the door for Marvel to just go stratospheric and just not look back. Not have to no longer, you're no longer competing. I mean, I don't think they really feel like they're competing, but I think DC feels like they're competing with Marvel. And I think if everything goes as planned and everything that we think this movie is going to be is, DC hasn't a chance in hell to catch them. They don't have a chance in hell. At that point, we've taken this to a whole nother plateau. So again, I'm super duper excited to see this movie. After hearing, Minnie tell us how his friend was practically speechless. I'm kind of feeling like that might be me too. I might slap a couple people next to me out on accident. My bad. Sorry about that.
Minnie's friend was so speechless that he forgot Batman wasn't part of the MCU. That's how speechless he was. He was like, "Oh shit, he got that movie messed his brain up that much."
You know what's funny though? That I didn't know what he just mentioned. I didn't know that, and I think what he meant was the fact that I wanted that Batman movie, since it was supposed to be like some serial killer type of ish, kind of Seven type of thing.
Okay,
so I was hoping for it to be like really, really dark. So maybe I'm interpreting, because I didn't know that what's his name was the director of it.
Sam Raimi?
Yeah, I didn't know Raimi.
Oh, yes.
So now knowing that, it could mean that what he meant was that this one is really dark.
Oh well, I feel like he's probably gonna direct it like a horror movie. Like it will
that's
probably
what I'm saying. So he probably meant like you wanted the Batman to be a horror movie, and it wasn't, but this one is. Okay. So I hope that that's what he meant. I really do.
All right, yeah, because I would be shocked if Sam Raimi didn't play it like horror. Because I mean, even if you think about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, there were like literal jump scares in that movie. Like they used the Goblin to actually put jump scares in this comic book movie. You know what I mean? So we've already seen in the trailers that we've got zombies and we got monsters and shit like that. So it's evil wizards, evil witches, who knows. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for horror. So without a doubt, Ty, without a doubt, Minnie, absolutely, y'all are on the right track. I think that this might be scarier than we imagined it would be.
I hope so.
Hell yeah. Any final thoughts on Doctor Strange before we move along? Because I mean, I could talk about Doctor Strange all day, but I know that we have a limited amount of time to talk about a few things. So you know, I don't want to keep us here all night.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm gonna be interested to see how all the TV shows that came out over the pandemic, leading up to like WandaVision, Loki, What If. What am I missing? There's several, but seeing how all that kind of was prepping us in a way for this movie part, and seeing how all that all gets intertwined and connected to this too.
Yeah.
So,
That's
like,
dope.
how faithful are you to Marvel? You saw the shows, the movies, like all that.
Yeah, like are people going to be left out if they didn't mess around and catch Loki and WandaVision stuff like that? So yeah, without a doubt. For anybody who wants to see Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness and hasn't seen everything, I suggest at least getting onto Disney Plus and watching the Legends that they have. So they have Disney Legends or Marvel Legends, and they have one for Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, for Wong, and they also have them for a lot of other Marvel characters. So familiarize yourself with what's going on, and then go and see the movie. So y'all can tune in next week when we actually review it and we get into what we saw, what our reactions were, and you know, basically just cry about how good the movie was.
And check out What If, because What If does also tie into the Multiverse of Madness. So make sure you and that's on Disney Plus as well. So after you watch Legends, just check out What If.
Absolutely. Well, then, now it's time to move on to less, you know, less magical, less mystical elements of the world. We're going to jump right into the actual world, into the real world. Well, as real as this can get, but we're going to find out where we are. I'm going to find out where everybody is on this panel, on this Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard court case, which I'm going to be completely honest. If I knew we weren't if I didn't know we were going to talk about it today, I would have kept on ignoring this thing as much as possible, as much as I possibly could. There was no way that I was not going to find out she pooped in the bed, because that was everywhere. There's no way that, you know, that we're going to miss like certain things that popped out. So, you know, I knew some of that stuff, but, you know, I had to actually get into it. So thank you for that, he said sarcastically. And let's jump into this thing real quick. I just want to hear y'all and just kind of your overall thoughts on what this case has meant to you. If it's just, I feel like there's like a little bit of a scale. I think some people watch it like a reality show and it's just pure entertainment, and it's like watching, you know, like watching a car crash. I think some people are, you know, very concerned that the person they think is the victim, you know, gets their justice and stuff, and they're, you know, people taking sides. So I just wanted to see where each of you were. And I think, again, I think I'll start with Holly. Let's go. We're going ladies first tonight. That's how we do things around here with the Multiverse. You know?
You're so chivalrous. Thank you. So my thought so far on this is, man, there's a lot going on here. It seems like as individuals, they both have a lot of work to do. And they had a very tumultuous relationship that, unfortunately, I think really kind of put a blemish on both their careers in Hollywood. And now, like, when you think of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I mean, this is kind of what comes to the forefront, is an abusive relationship, and they're suing each other because they in essence like defamed each other for saying things or making allegations, true, untrue. I mean, as we're, you know, things are coming out in court and through their testimony, but yeah, as I've been watching it, it's just a lot to, like, man, it's getting very personal, and you realize like these people are human beings and they have their issues for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair way to look at things. Also, you know, you kind of led me to a thought, which is, it's very likely that that we have two people who might just kind of be like not great people who found themselves together, and now we find, you know, ourselves in this situation. Also, Amber Heard's side of the trial, Amber Heard's representation, they're starting their case today. She got on the stand today so they could argue her side of things. So at this point, most of what we know from the trial has come from Johnny Depp and their representation. So,
right.
You know, just want to put that out there as we discuss the rest of this, the rest of this thing. Minnie, what are your overall thoughts on this?
Overall thoughts. Okay, so I can't have overall complete thought because, like you said, we haven't heard both sides yet.
Yeah.
So for me to have like a real complete synopsis of what I think the situation was or is or what have you, it would be a disservice for me to say something now because I don't know. Yeah, but I'll say this: I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid, right? So like law stuff like interests me a lot. Of like for some reason I love watching pre-trial trial proceedings, regardless, especially California, because California will film the whole damn thing. Because I just entered it. It didn't have to be Johnny Depp for me to watch it. Something that was that big, I would have gone to watch it anyway. It's just the type of person I am. I'm interested by that stuff. So what I will say is, I am surprised that rich people got shitty lawyers. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how some of these motherfuckers pass the bar test. Like, I've seen some silly shit happen during this trial that you just like, did you see the guy object to his own damn self?
Oh, no, I honestly haven't been watching. I'm just kind of reading after the fact and stuff. So yeah,
to himself.
Yeah,
I have never seen no sillier shit than that, and you were getting paid thousands of dollars an hour to make that kind of mistake. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I've seen people harass witnesses. It's just like, dude, like it's just very petty and very like it seems very petty and it seems very not just juvenile, but like it just doesn't seem good. Like neither side lawyers are doing a good job of making this seem not petty as hell. Yeah, I mean, like the way they're asking the questions, the way they're going through the investigation, the way they're putting everything together there's a way more like adult way to do this. And it's just like watching a bunch of children argue about some shit. And I'm like, man, like y'all get paid a lot of money to be this petty. But it is what it is. Until I see the other side, I won't know a complete thought. But so far, they both look horrible to me. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's really going to come out of this unscathed when it comes to, when it comes to what reputations. Although I have seen a lot of, I've been kind of shocked, I guess, by the outpouring of like this like kind of weird parasocial relationship people are having with Johnny Depp now, where all of a sudden, like after the last couple of weeks, because of the way his, maybe his lawyers did such a good job, because people were like, "Oh, Johnny Depp, how could you ever forgive us? We've wronged you so."
Crazy. My girl's one of them. Okay. She talking about she want me to pay for a plane ticket to Virginia. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's wild. But to your point, we're talking about big court cases, especially the way things are in Hollywood and stuff. I mean, some of the biggest national kind of stories and conversations we've had have been around court cases. I mean, of course, we think of the OJ trial because we're old enough to remember that. You know what I mean? But
Rodney King.
Rodney King. I mean, these trials have a way of pulling people in. I mean, all the trials that were that have been involved in police injustice and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, there's those are important things, but still the trials are they're people look at it as good TV. They're transfixed by it. Ty, what are your thoughts on all this stuff?
What I think is this is playing out in the court of public opinion. As most high-profile cases do. This is not about who's right or wrong. It seems more like who's the best actor. We're competing to see who's the best actor. Who can convince the world that my story sounds better than your story. And if you've ever been in a toxic relationship, you know that it's never one-sided. There's always something on both parties. One party is going to play victim. The other party is going to act like they're unaware of what's going on. And it's just a mess. And that's what we're seeing. A mess that is being polarized on national television for the world to see. I watched her testimony today, and it was very. You ask the questions, and I've been in these situations before, so I understand that when you love someone and you've reached that pinnacle where you feel like they're the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you always revert back to that moment, that pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no matter how bad stuff gets, you're always like, well, I remember what they were and what they could be. And I just think if I just deal with him punching me in the face or her slapping me, eventually they'll stop and we'll be back to where we were. So this relationship probably went a lot longer than it should have, and just got messier and messier and messier. You know, the stuff that I'm hearing is just a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of I don't really do that, so I don't know. You know, a lot of bullshit. Like, you're not going to be with somebody who does drugs that heavily and stay, unless you're doing drugs just as heavy. That's just not going to happen. I actually was in a relationship before with someone, and they did that. They went into that, and I couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? I could not watch them do that to themselves. No matter how much I cared for them, I couldn't stay there and just sit back and take just be a passenger on this road to destruction that you're on. Like, I had to remove myself from that situation. Now, if I were like Amber Heard from what she's saying, because she's saying that Johnny he wakes up he doesn't eat breakfast. His breakfast is cocaine. He doesn't eat. He does cocaine in the morning, does it for lunch, dinner, in the evening, drinking. I mean, she's saying that this is what he's been doing for a very long time, and that she's just been kind of hoping that he would stop. And then when you hear her start talking about these, well, I don't really know what he did because I don't do it. I don't drink, so I don't really know what he drinks. Okay, listen. You don't live with someone, you don't share the same premises and not know what they drink. Because guess what? Sometimes you might have to go get what they drink if they ask you to. So that the idea that you're just so oblivious to the things that he does, and then you want to kind of like, because today she was like, we did MDMA. It's like a fun laughy drug. She that's what she said. It was a laughy drug. She was like, he does the hardcore stuff, but I only mess with the laughy stuff. And I'm just like, really, come on, really, Amber. So it's one of those things where you're like, if you just would be totally honest, you know what I'm saying, then it probably would convey better to the audience that you're acting for than to sit here and play innocent when we now know that you pooped on this man's bed, which honestly takes a really certain kind of individual to do that. I've never done that, pooped outside of a toilet. And I think
it's actually hard. Liberating.
It is. well,
I mean, not on a bed. That's disgusting. But outside in the wilderness, in
the wilderness, yeah,
or
sure.
on the trunk of somebody's car, whatever.
Well, thank you for your storytelling, Tyrone. We know you so much better now. But yeah, she just listening to it today was just very nerve-wracking, because I'm just like, there's no way that I understand that he probably abused you due to the fact that he is totally out of it based on what you're saying. He's always on drugs and always on cocaine and all that. He's always questioning you. But what I'm seeing is that she keeps saying that, like, she keeps alluding to the fact that he's so insecure that she can't be around anybody, including females, because in case you didn't know, Amber Heard had a previous relationship with a woman. So that affects Johnny in a different way, because women, typically the women I see are usually close knit. Like, they're like, oh girl, they'll hug, right. Oh, I love you. And that's a typical thing. So I wouldn't get offended. But in Johnny's case, because he knows that she's previously had a relationship with a woman, he thinks that any woman that comes in contact with his woman is now like competition, and this is all based on what she's saying. So again, this is just an acting competition, and I guess.
So would you say that to this point you feel like Johnny Depp has been the better actor?
I think Johnny has done a better job of admitting that he's a piece of shit than she has.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of accepted that I'm a piece of shit, and like he's not like steering away from it. And I think people are like respecting him for the fact that you're like not stepping away from the shit that you did. He's not denying that he's ever caused her any harm. He's not denying that he's just like some of this shit is made up. Like, I'm not saying I haven't done anything, but the shit she's saying, I didn't do that. And that's kind of what it is. And then you have Amber on the other side, like, I didn't do anything. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know where that shit came from. It's probably dog food. Like, I mean, like, come on, girl. We know the difference. And then the dogs that they have are little dogs. They are little dogs. And I've had a little dog. I'm sure you guys have had a little dog. Maybe not you, Tyrone. I don't know if you've ever had a dog, but little dogs. No. I know he's
I haven't, but I was like, it was interesting that you'd be like, I don't know about this guy. This guy doesn't seem like a dog guy. I don't know.
No, but I mean, we've seen little dogs, and little dogs don't do human shit. They don't do human sized shit. They're usually pebblets. It's like a little dog can poop on your carpet, and you're not so upset. Like it's like, let me get that. Like, don't do that.
A big dog though.
Yeah, big dog. Yeah, you got to go.
I do, even though
eviction papers have been served. Yes.
Yeah. Now, even though I haven't had a dog, I do understand just basic poop science. The bigger the being, the bigger the poop. Usually, Jurassic Park taught me that, right? That's one big pop shit. So I completely understand. I haven't even seen the picture of the poop on the bed, but I trust the science in this. But but there is some some discussion to be had, though, that we as observers and even the judge and the jury don't know the facts. The only people who actually know the facts are Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. So you brought up a good point earlier when you were like, basically who's and really this is what law comes down to a lot of times, is who's the most convincing. And sometimes you could have evidence that's the most convincing, and it's like, well, you can't deny that the evidence shows X, Y, and Z. Sometimes that's the case. In a defamation trial, it's a lot harder to be so certain that this didn't happen or that this did happen. So I think what we're going to end up finding is that even though the court of public opinion right now, as it stands, seems to favor Johnny Depp, and they seem to have come out, in support of Johnny Depp. While that can still change over time, based on what Amber Heard is saying, the jury and the judge still have to look at things as, beyond a reasonable doubt, that kind of a thing. Like, do we know for sure that these things did or did not happen? And that's what will help them to make that ruling. What's up, Ty?
So what you see on the screen right now is what occurred in a Starbucks. They were actually being criticized for this. Someone decided to write on the tip jars, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And as you can see, no one's tipping the Amber Heard job. And this is kind of, indicative of what you were just talking about, Tyrone, where who's putting on the best show. And so far, which shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, Johnny Depp has 20 years of acting on Amber Heard, as well as 20 years of age on her, extra age on her as well. So it shouldn't be surprising that he's winning the acting contest that is being portrayed right now in the court. So
yeah, and I do, and there, that also brings up another fear of mine, and I want to get Holly's thoughts on this. Is that there are a lot of people, nobody here that I'm talking about, I want that to be clear. We don't do this kind of shit on Multiverse. But there are a lot of "I told you so" motherfuckers out there who have been in the camp of women make shit up. You can't believe, that kind of stuff. And people have been using these last couple of weeks as an opportunity to be like, Johnny Depp is now the poster boy for these guys. And that's, so when I see something like that, like the tip jar thing, it to me feels like almost like a little bit of a precursor to those kinds of feelings. You know what I mean? We know that anybody can be a victim of abuse. And we know that those victims should feel comfortable coming forward no matter who they are. And if it turns out that these are both victims of abuse, I hope they both get the justice and the help that they need. You know what I mean? But it has been troubling to see some of the people come out and just turn this, while we do have people that want to support Johnny Depp, and that's fine, because like he may very well be a victim who has not, committed any abuse. I don't know for sure. We'll find out. But then there's like these people who have gone the extra step and have been like, not only are we like here for you, Johnny Depp, but Amber Heard's a monster and this, and it starts to get real ugly. And I'm like, damn, I hope that we're not going that far. You know what I mean? As observers. Holly, what are your thoughts on that? As I mean, frankly, well, I hit the wrong button and immediately I was like, yeah, so as a woman, bye. Like, my bad, Holly. That's on me. I was trying to spotlight you and I hit the wrong button. That was my finger. My finger was an agent of the patriarchy. And it was like, nah, we're not trying to hear what she's trying to say right now.
Time to kick in the feminism mode. No. Man, so I hear you, because honestly, when I hear Johnny's testimony, I don't necessarily think like, oh, I can see why people side with him. But if you really I feel like read between really listen between the lines, it's like he had a lot of issues going on, dealing with drugs. And it seems like she had a lot of issues. And the two blended together, I think, just created this really toxic environment. And at this point, I kind of feel like everyone's just like, well, Johnny said his piece. It's like, I don't know. There goes my AirPod. But I just kind of feel like, I don't like that. Oh, Johnny was wrong all the time. I think it just looks worse because of the dollar figure associated with Johnny Depp and like the major contracts that he lost in comparison to Amber. So I feel like, Amber was lying all this time and Johnny was right. But I don't think to me, I feel like it's more associated with like, I just don't think we had a full side. But when you hear it, you realize it's like he was detoxing. And he's like saying, she shouldn't have been around when I was detoxing. And you're like, you're detoxing. And then you hear what he's going through just so he can play a part. I don't know. It just seems like a lot. And I personally, hearing Johnny, I don't think he's like right. Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. All right, Minnie, I see your hand going up. What's up? What you got?
Sadly, I gotta get in a second, but I want to answer the question my way before I gotta get. And I love you guys. I do apologize for only being here for a second. I feel like
thanks for joining. Thanks for joining and spending time.
I feel like it was my first relationship. We laughed, we cried, and we both sweated it. You know what I'm saying? But this is my thing. When it comes to the point that you brought up, I 100% agree with you. I can't stand people who take something and just make it to their own agenda when it fits, right? But I will say this: if at the end of the day, if it comes out that she was like as equally as abusive as he was, oh, that was gonna piss me off. Why would that piss me off? Because she got paid, hella paid, to be the spokeswoman for women who were getting abused. So if she was also doing an abusing as well and was an equal partner to this, then you were stealing that money, boo-boo, the whole time. Because L'Oreal gave her thousands and thousands of dollars. She was going to colleges talking about abuse and all that stuff, and talking about how, you know what I'm saying, with the Me Too movement and all that, which I'm fine with, only if you didn't have a part in the shit. You know what I'm saying? If you have a part in it, as in you're both equally as wrong, then you were stealing money from these companies, acting like you were the victim the whole time. When y'all were both the person, you know what I'm saying, both wrong. Y'all were both there's no victim. You see what I'm saying? If y'all both doing it, if on Tuesday Johnny woke up and slapped you, and on Wednesday you slapped him, y'all both motherfuckers wrong. It is what it is. That's the way I look at it. But I hate people who take this and be like, "Oh, women lie all the time. Look what's happening with Johnny." Look, motherfucker, this can happen to anybody. Okay. Yeah. The only part that I have a problem with is if she was lying and was getting paid for it. That I got a problem with.
And just so it's said, I think we all here understand that when it comes to, not that it's a contest, but that when it comes to, how the world is set up, who the world's protecting, who, our system kind of leans towards, we understand that men have it easier than women in this department, generally speaking. Now, still can be victims of abuse without a doubt. But we know from a lot of anecdotal experiences, we know from statistical data that, oftentimes women are the more in danger of us. So we do want to make sure that we don't get into a point. That wasn't me this time. I didn't do that. I didn't get Holly off. No. So yeah, what's up, Ty?
So what I would hope, and this is just a hope because it can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
What I would hope though is that if it does come out that she instigated a lot of these things and kind of perpetuated this behavior, with him being under the influences of all these intoxicants, what I would hope is that moving forward, the judicial system will do a better job of vetting these people when they do these things. Because what I had a conversation and a message just like a day or two ago, and I was saying that if she comes out to be the culprit, what that does is it fractures the believability of women. Now, this is a bad thing because for a very, very long time, men have usually been the aggressors in domestic violence cases, usually. And when you do have a woman that is coming forth saying she's being abused, and then you have someone like Amber Heard, who is on such a large platform that she's on right now, and then she comes that she's found out to be this culprit. What you do now is you have judges that question the validity of a woman's statement. And that is not what we want. We don't want women scared to come forward because they don't feel like they're going to be believed. Because guess what? They have been in that situation for a very, very, very long time. And so what she does is not only does she hurt Johnny, which honestly, neither of them are really hurt. I mean, like, if we're being honest here, neither of them are, you can get over it. Shit didn't work out. You'll find somebody. He'll find somebody or not. But financially, you guys are both set. So, I mean, like, yeah, you might have emotionally, these are things, but you can afford the help. You can afford the doctors. Some people aren't in that situation. Some people are like, are barely making it. They're in a fractured situation with their relationship. They're being abused and they don't know where to turn. And then they come forward and you're not believing them again because of a woman doing something as crazy as this. So, and again, I don't know that she did. So I'm just saying, if it comes to light that,
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you, Mindy. I know you got to go. Thank you so much for joining
Sorry about
us.
that. Sorry.
No,
Love you
good.
guys. I'll see you next week.
Bro.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah. Thank you so much. See you now.
Go ahead, Tyrone.
Now, so I do hope that you're wrong, that it would that it would affect the believability and get worse, because already it's pretty bad. Like it's not easy for women to come forward, and oftentimes when women do come forward, they're not believed. And I don't think that that a single case and a single person should have any bearing on that. And I also don't think that like, let's say it comes out that Johnny Depp has been the villain the whole time. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to change the way people look at men or people look at women. I think it's going to be exactly the way it has been for a long time, because that's just how we've been set up. For example, we have a guy sitting on the Supreme Court who was very credibly accused of rape, and his ass is sitting on the Supreme Court now, taking rights away from women. So, while there is a certain thing to be said for the idea of men and women, kind of being equally able to be victims of this kind of stuff. I doubt that a woman, would be able to reap the benefits of how the system is set up right now as much as a man has been. Because what we have is this kind of fallacy with abuse cases where you have to be the perfect victim. Right. So you have to be a victim who's never stood up, who's never fought back, who's never, that kind of thing. It's something that happens a lot in domestic cases. A lot of the times there is no justice, even when it comes to stuff like rape, even when it comes to stuff like actual sexual assault. The victim has to be a perfect victim, or else the system's like, hey, sorry, this isn't like, it's not gonna be like that. What's up?
In those regards, okay. when you speak about those instances, those instances are usually having to do with people that are in positions of power. What I'm talking about is the regular guy, Joe Smo, or I'm not talking about anyone on a Supreme Court or anybody in a financial position of power, because I do agree with you in those cases. In those cases, typically the woman is not believed because the other guy's got a team of lawyers who totally rip her a new one on the stand because she can't afford the same type of things. But in your home state of Florida, all a woman has to do is pick up the phone and call the police and say she was hit. If the police come there and they see any disruption, she could scratch her face. She could smack herself. If they see anything that looks like she's been abused, they will take the man with no other evidence. That I know for a fact. But if you are in a position of power, you can afford these high-priced attorneys. You are absolutely correct. A Supreme Court judge gets accused of rape. He's got a whole bunch of people backing him to, in a sense, to support his whatever notion or whatever his thing is when it comes to, oh, I didn't touch her or whatever the case may be. But a guy, a little Joe Smo, me, a regular guy, you get accused of rape. If you don't have the financial backing in America to have those high-priced lawyers, your ass is gonna either, one, you're gonna plea out and you're gonna plead guilty because your public defender is gonna tell you to, or two, the evidence will surface at some point and you'll go to jail. Go ahead.
See, that's okay. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just for frame of reference, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, this is like a defamation case, and they're countersuing each other. So basically, they're just trying to prove like it was like, so just money. So we know, it cost me money because you didn't quite tell the story.
Right. This isn't a criminal case. Right.
Yeah. Just so you guys are free. I just want to for our because
you're absolutely right.
Allegations of rape here, just that she said something in an op-ed that was very public, and basically he lost a lot of deals, and then vice versa because it came back that it wasn't as bad as she said it was allegedly, that she lost some deals and now they're going after each other. But
thank you for the clarification. I think the reason why we got here is we started talking about how the believability of women and things like that, and like so we had to kind of get into a little bit bigger of a discussion,
and I think
especially
because
me, I'm always like, all right, well, let's dive in, so
and I agree. I think that's why you see them kind of like acting, because they have to kind of like, see, it wasn't as bad as she, my finger was bleeding and blood was everywhere, and I wrote on the walls and I wrote my name, and she's like, it's like,
well, today she accused him of sexual abuse. She accused him of literally what her words was he said, I'm going to perform a cavity search on you. And she went into detail of him performing this thing, which is criminal. If what you're saying is he took, and did something to you and violated you, and you were not given your permission to do so, that is rape, period. So that like the fact that they're mentioning and they're doing it like they'll hint to it, like, oh, he did this and he beats on me, and all these things that she says are criminal acts. That's assault. That's domestic violence. That's rape.
But that's not on trial, though. That's not what's on trial. Which I hear you. It's just not on trial.
It's not
and I think that's the part that's like why this is, I think, disturbing, because it is like you're alleging these things, but you're really just talking about you all said things that defamed my name, and now I don't.
Cost me my money.
My legacy cost me my money. But it's like, you're right. You're alleging like criminal acts, and then it just makes you on both sides question, like, why are neither of you reporting it? Like, what's going on? And it's like, you maybe because you don't want to hurt your finances, but now look, you both did. So here we are.
And they got to pay these lawyers too.
Big circus. Big circus.
No, thank you for that. And I think what you've done is a good job of pulling us back down to earth, because we could, as we do, like, see, here's the thing, and it's gonna happen again. But Ty and I like to get into very like semantic discussions that cover like such like. I love debating, and I think Ty loves debating too. So yeah, we like to. And Holly, I know that you have. I feel like you like debating, but also like you're at times you just want to tell us shut the hell up, which I understand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thank you. So thank you for thank you for being like, excuse me, boys. We need to we need to take this.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
I would like to say this though before we finish. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard at one time were very much in love. Very much in love. You could. If there is ever something that is indicative of someone being in a healthy relationship, it is their appearance. And if you look at this picture right here, which was taken a while ago, obviously, Johnny looks, whether or not he was doing a cocaine for breakfast and all of that, he looked clean. Amber looked clean. When they come to court, they both look disheveled and like just like they look like they're like we're just gonna go and try.
Well, they look like people
who looked the worst.
Like they look like people.
They look like people because they don't have a team of like super talented makeup artists and hair artists making them look
get
like
Botox like right before and fillers and
like
stuff.
All of a sudden they start looking real human when they're not dressed up to go to the the Oscars party and shit. You're like, oh, okay, this is what people look like. Okay, this is right.
Normally.
You see the emails and how Johnny writes his emails.
Exactly.
But before we wrap up for the night, I do want to quickly, we had something break this morning that we didn't really plan on talking about, but I mean, we have to address it because it's something, I mean, that we absolutely have to address. So Dave Chappelle was performing for the Netflix is a Joke Festival, and a fan or just somebody who was in attendance rushed the stage and attempted to tackle him. That dude got grabbed by security, taken backstage, and they made sure he does not rush any stage ever again for the rest of his life. And it's as these things do, and coming up so close to the it's coming up so close to the Will Smith Chris Rock slap. This has blown up and has become the subject of a lot of conversation. First of all, I guess, just real quick to hear your thoughts about it. Both of your thoughts, Ty, if you want to just give a quick, overview, and then, we could ask the question that we know we want to ask, and get into that. But yeah, when you saw this, what were your thoughts when you saw this story pop up?
Not again. I was like, damn, didn't we just have somebody run up on the stage and attack one of our, biggest comedians, and then here we are a few months later, someone attacking I would say right now probably the biggest comedian in the industry right now, just as far as just notoriety. So that I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe it, honestly. I was just like, wow. First of all, where was the security? How does one get because the stage is pretty high. I've been to the comedy, especially in auditoriums. That stage is not just like low. Well, you gotta like hop up on the stage. You can't just run to this. You gotta hop up on the stage. So this dude he was quick. He hopped up on the stage and ran and was able to tackle him. And but I mean, they reacted quicker than the Oscars security did. But still, you never want to see this. You never want to see anybody rushing the stage. I read the article and it says something about he had like a fake knife,
like a fake gun that had a knife come out.
I had one of those a while ago, a long time ago.
Yeah, it's something that you're like, you see when you're 13, you're like, I want that.
I want that.
And you're like, why'd I get this?
Yeah. So it just could have gotten really, it could have gotten really ugly had this guy ran up there and stabbed Dave. And I'm thankful that he's not harmed. Yeah. But yeah, you just don't want to see stuff like that. You don't want to see people jumping out their seats and coming attacking comedians.
Yeah, 100%, or anybody for that matter. Holly, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm curious what Dave said, or what, like what
Right after,
him?
well, he. I'm not even gonna say it in public. He made a joke right after, like literally right after, and it was in bad taste because that's what he does, and he still, we could have another conversation another day about where he decided to go with this, but Dave was fine. Let's just say that immediately he was fine.
Yeah.
And
No.
well, one thing he did say that he was like, he said something about like, this is the first time I had to jump somebody backstage or whatever.
First time I saw, he's like, I always wanted to do that.
Yeah. So like, so well, and I wonder if they're going to start to walk some of that back just to avoid any like potential like excessive force kind of stuff, because I don't know how that works legally. Like if you rush a stage, is it just open season on you for like a bunch of people to jump you, or are some of those people is this dude, are a bunch of lawyers like sitting there like, oh yeah, I can't wait until he gets out of the hospital, you know what I mean? So I don't really know how that works, but I do wonder if like Busta Rhymes and Chris Brown and Jamie Foxx, if they're going to be out there like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have been so public about this shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how them cameras got in there, because I know when I went to some comedy shows, they had them phones locked down. So I'm trying to figure out, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there are people that are just like, I don't even have a phone. I've never had a phone in my
It's
life.
like in
And
their shirt.
People don't care. But
I wonder if it changes, if the level, if the force used is dictated on whether or not someone uses their hands as opposed to a weapon.
Yeah.
Because he did in fact have a weapon, whether he used it or not, it was on his person. So at that point, he is a threat. And I mean, there were security there as well.
Yeah.
It was a melee. No one knew what to expect at that moment. I did see them pull. I didn't see, like, because obviously the footage wasn't that crisp.
Yeah.
But I did in fact see them walk Dave away from the scuffle on the back of the stage.
Right.
I guess after he got a couple licks in, I don't know. That's speculation. He did say he stomped him, but that could all be in jest because that's just Dave. But if someone comes at me with a weapon, and I have friends or family, like if you're there and you see somebody come with a weapon, you better not hold back them punches.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I feel you. Like I feel you on like on life on the streets, you know what I mean? Like on, if you see me in the streets and this is how it's going down, like we're not going to be we're not going to be holding back. There's not going to be any pulling punches, literally. But I do wonder what it's going to be like legally in this situation, because it's like, again, it's just another weird ass thing where it's like you have this happen, and then now I'm not saying this dude didn't deserve to get stomped. This is one of those things where it's like I've always said, when you do something like that, like you open yourself up to all kinds of shit. So like you made this decision and those were your consequences. Like,
I mean, he can sue civilly. It doesn't mean he'll win. But
right, exactly. And that's why I brought it up, was just like, I just don't know if I wonder, because that we know what there's
some attorney
like, so
who will probably reach out to him.
Yeah, I can't wait to try this one out. You know what I mean? So I wonder if the story, if this is going to be the last we hear of that story, or if it's or if it's going to be something like that. I honestly, I think that this dude is probably just going to end up cutting his losses and just go away and hopefully
he's going away.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's for sure. He's going away. Like you don't do that and have a weapon and not go away. You're going away, so you got time to think about what you're going to do. And
we asked, pre-show, Ty and I, we had a debate because he asked the question, or basically was like, I told you this would happen. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Let me say, and feel free to jump in, Holly, because you know how we are. But
ready, go.
Ty, what were you saying earlier? And then we can talk about it in the next few minutes, and then we'll wrap up and stuff. But like, what you got for me?
All right. Now that that's out the way. Back when the first incident happened with Chris Rock, we had a conversation, and I asked at that moment, I said, does this open the door Now that this has happened to Chris Rock and nothing happened to Will, does this open the door for the regular guy to rush a stage and do something similar to this to other comedians? At the time when we had the conversation, you said this has been going on for years. It's been going on for a long time. And that, it probably will still continue to go on, but it's been going on. So it's not, isolated. It's just that the fact that it had happened on the Oscar stage, which typically you wouldn't see anything like that happen. And for me, I realized that, because I've watched YouTube, I've seen, people attack comedians before, but to attack Dave Chappelle, which is not what I would consider just a regular comedian. He's an iconic figure, and probably, in most people's top 10 greatest comedians of all time. So for me to see that happen, and not in a nightclub, this didn't happen in a nightclub. This happened in a full-on,
like a stadium auditorium kind of deal. Yeah.
Yes, auditorium. Which is and the crowd looked like it was a pretty large crowd, a significant,
Dave Chappelle sized crowd. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So people know what that means. So I just felt like this was exactly what I was alluding to could happen when I made that comment, and you said.
Yeah, so I said basically, and you sum my thoughts up on it pretty well, is that it's been happening and it will happen, and that it's not connected to the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing at all. And even if you're talking about somebody the magnitude of Dave Chappelle, it's like, yeah, Dave Chappelle's very, very famous for a comedian, but I mean, Michael Jackson's had the stage rushed, Jay-Z's had the stage rushed. You could talk, anybody at the height of their popularity has had the stage rushed on them. They rush in the court in basketball games. They're rushing the field in football games. They're rushing the field and in soccer matches. And they're, that's why presidential campaigns, they have Secret Service standing, 3 feet away from everybody and bulletproof glass and shit like that, because people just be rushing stages. You know what I mean? That's just something that has been going on as long as stages have been a thing. And we'll see more of it. And what now, one thing I will concede to you is that it will probably be more publicized as it continues to happen, because all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, people like to talk about this stuff. So next time it happens, as long as this happens to somebody we care about, we're going to make sure that this is a story. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if, the next time it happens is somebody who's big enough to, carry a little bit of the news cycle. We'll absolutely see more of it. But, to me, it happening again is just proof that it's just going to keep happening regardless of who it happens to, not that it's connected to Will Smith and Chris Rock.
The only reason I kind of associated it with that is because there's been a pretty much just an outcry and just a lot of backlash that Dave has been getting over the years, period, and so, but nothing like this happened previously, and now all of a sudden he gets, because that closer when we did the show on the closer, there was a lot of people that were very, very upset about what he did, and he did the closer, he did the one before that, I think three different ones that he did, and no one rushed the stage, and not to mention, he was in a smaller, like a venue, like the venues that he was in when he did the closer had a smaller stage, which made him more accessible. And no one rushed the stage. They might have gave him ugly looks. The lady in the front row didn't find any of the shit funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just gave him the look, but no one rushed the stage.
Well, it's in a comedian's career. If you're getting the stage rushed a lot, you should probably rethink your shit. It's still, like, as much as it's happened throughout history and it will continue to happen, it's still unusual for somebody to have the stage. Like, if it happened to me, I'd be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I would hope it would never happen again. You know what I mean? But I do also know that it's a thing that can happen. But, now I'm sure there are some comedians who they make their comedy a certain way, and they probably have a little bit more examples than others. But, I don't know I honestly don't know either way if Dave Chappelle has ever had the stage rushed on him before. I would imagine, having done comedy for so long, he's probably got a couple stories of, you know, somebody taking a joke the wrong way or whatever else, and, you know, rushing the stage or attempting to rush the stage. If you talk to a lot of comedians, I would say there's a good chance that most of them will have a story. You know what I mean? If they've been in it long enough. So, you know, I don't know. I don't have any proof that it's not connected to Will Smith and Chris Rock. Only that
as do I not have proof that it is.
Right. Only to say that is that it's happened for so long and for so many people and for so many different reasons and for so you know, as many different statures of fame and stuff like that. That the Will Smith Chris Rock thing, you know, I still think it was just another drop in the bucket. It just happened to be, you know, Will Smith walks up on stage and slaps Chris Rock while wearing a tuxedo on live fucking television and stuff like that. And we're just like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? So that's that was my thought on it. And I really hope, as a comedian, I really hope that people get, I hope that people get to a point where the only time we care about comedians is when they're telling jokes. And, you know, we can just get back to that level of comedy. Cause like the comedy world outside of just like those moments where you're just like telling jokes and doing your shit, honestly, not that fun. Like it's, I mean, you know, as I love it as a comedian, but like, as far as entertainment goes, you know, just ignore it for the most part. Just bet, you know what I mean? Just don't even worry about it. So I hope that eventually people get bored with like this extracurricular comedy stuff and, you know, just watch specials and, you know, leave us alone. Kevin Hart, watch your back.
Like, I'm just saying, man. I mean, like, if there's a checklist to just go smacking and attacking black comedians, then Kevin, you're pretty small.
Yeah. And then The Rock is gonna come out. And like somebody's old wrestling.
The Rock is gonna be like, "How dare you smack my little man?" You know, pick Kevin up on one hand and smack somebody on the other. Now, Holly, do you have any final thoughts on this Dave Chappelle thing before we head out of here?
No, I think you guys really did
said enough.
Yeah, you guys. No, I think it was just a shock because it's just like, in my mind, I'm like, what's up with people invading people's personal space? Like when they're performing, like, I just don't like get it. Like in my mind, I'm like, catch him outside in the back or whatever. You know what I mean? After he's done, and then y'all tackle it out, but just
which is absolutely a thing that happens to comedians.
Now I've seen that. I've seen comedians get off the stage and be approached. Now, I have seen that.
That happens way more often than it's like,
I didn't think that joke was funny. I've seen this shit. Vince has been approached like that. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what my thought would have been. It's just like, but I also feel like sometimes people doing it because they know they could maybe get some 15 minutes out of it, and I don't know, like, social media.
Also, I do want to make it clear for anybody who's out there thinking I might rush the stage or something, just don't. Like, don't stop doing it. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm like, it's going to continue to happen, still fucking stop. You know what I mean? So that's all I wanted to say. If you're thinking about rushing the stage, if you're thinking about running on the field or whatever, just don't.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Chris was an isolated situation. Just leave it alone.
All right. So before we get out of here, Ty, you want to tell the people where they can find you and where they can hear your voice and know your soul?
Well, before I do that, first things first, next week we have a very special guest that will be joining us. She is an actress who has been in many, many movies. And I wanted just to familiarize everybody with her before we introduce her next week. Her name is Shaquita James. You may know her from Greenleaf or Hawkeye, BMF. She's been in a lot of things and has a lot of upcoming things on the way. I did have a little 1-minute reel of some of the stuff that she's done, and when you see this, you're gonna be like, I remember her. Yes. So let's go ahead and run that real quick, and we'll get on out of here.
Let me get this reel.
Yeah, so we are super excited to be able to have her come join us next week. So she'll be talking about, you know, some of her past movies and some of her possible future stuff. So we're really excited to have her on next week. So I hope everybody tunes in for that because it's going to be a fun show. And of course, we'll be talking Doctor Strange, and we'll have all seen it by then. So just know that I'll be redder than red next week, just from excitement. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. Yeah, that was just wanted to let everybody know that was my job to be like, hey, y'all, we got to get ready for Shaquita James to come up. And I completely dropped the ball. So thank you, Ty, for stepping in and picking that ball up and scoring the touchdown.
Makes the dream work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just wanted to, hey, I'll take my L's when I have to. And that was one. But my teammate had my back, and I appreciate that.
Always.
Holly, what you got for us?
Yeah, guys, tune in every Wednesday at 6:30 to the Multiverse. On YouTube and Facebook, and go follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and like our Facebook page. And again, you can find me on So Please Understand on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, and share my channel.
Yeah, all right. I was just like, I've been practicing.
Yeah. Same spiel every week.
And I just want to I want you to be able to look at all of us right now. No, I just thank you, all of you who were in the comment section, anybody who watched and spent some time with us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again to Mini Baby Grogu for coming through and hanging out with us for a little while. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Amy, for all of your hard work and making this show a fun place to be every Wednesday. Thank you all for that, and for being such great hosts and friends and teammates. Really, really appreciate you guys. So appreciate everything. As they both said, you catch us here on Wednesday, 6:30. You can see me and Ty Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for New Blurred Order. Holly, we still got to get you on New Blurred Order hanging out with us because you watch way too much of this stuff. I know we're gonna have to wake you up. We're gonna wake you up just so you're up.
I go back to sleep at 10 a.m. Yeah, I go back.
You're gonna get an accidental text at 8 next Saturday morning and be like, "You up?" Like it's just gonna happen. I'm sorry. Yeah. But no, thank you.
For you on the show.
No, but thank you so much. If you're in the New York area, I'll be at the Tiny Cupboard on Thursday or tomorrow after I watch Doctor Strange at 8:30. So come and check us out. And on Monday nights, Silver Stream with Zilla Bodness at sometime Monday night, usually sometime around 8:30-ish, that kind of, we be chilling. So no, again, thank you all so much for being here, and we hope to see you next week on Multiverse. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.